Good day and welcome to another week of a week at the plot. And I have to say, when I came down just now, it's sort of with some relief I looked at this area, which is sort of, you know, pretty clear apart from my shadow. Oh yeah, I'll get on and do that bed later in the week. But yeah, I was really pleased about that. And then I came down, opened my shed, bottle of wine, Brussels sprouts, and some homemade marmalade. I think this is from our friends that I was looking after their wheelbarrow, bringing it down whilst they were away. Yeah. Oh, it's quite a lovely afternoon. When the sun is out, it's really gorgeous. And I've just popped down to help that person that I'm sort of seeing down there prune their pear tree. So that's grand. It is rather a lovely day, but once it gets cloudy, that chilliness is there. But when the sun is out, it's lovely. Oh, can you hear that bird? I heard my first woodpecker of the year about a week ago. I forgot to tell you. Haven't heard it actually in the last few days, but yeah. Anyway. Yes, very pleased that that area is a bit clear. Now I'm going to go and prune a pear tree. That's right, I was going to say an apple tree, but a pear tree. Oh, here comes the sun again. I have done my good deed for today. So I went down with that fellow plotter down to their plot, and on it is a pear tree on dwarfing rootstock, most probably about 8 foot tall. It's rather a jaunty angle, but it's quite old, so it would be difficult to sort of pull upright. So we've cut a branch off the bottom and looked at dead wood, dying wood, crossing wood, disease wood, taken all that out, and then looked at the shape of it and have shaped it up a bit as well. So we'll see how it goes over the next year and then give it another prune in a year's time. In the summer, if the shape needs a bit of pruning, then we can do a little bit of pruning then as well, but that would be just really for shape. You know, if we know that a branch is sticking out into their plot in a way that is cumbersome for them because they keep on walking into it, we could take that branch off, or some of that branch. In the summer you don't want to do too much work. Winter, when the tree is dormant, that is the time to do major work. And if it's really major, like some of the work we're doing in the orchard, it's good to spread it over 3 or 4 years as well, so that it doesn't stress the tree too much. And then I was just sort of checking on broad bean growth in the poly. Because we've had colder weather, it's slowed down the growth in there, though there is pretty good germination in there now. And I just tidied up the bed whilst I was here and the sun was out. It's sort of coming in, coming out and going back in, coming out, going back in. And it's pretty chilly. There's a wind across the plot today and across the site, and once the sun is in, that wind can be quite biting. With the sun out, it is rather pleasant. So there we are. Anyway, time for me to go home. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. That's the first strim of this calendar year. I think it's the second strim of my growing year, which, as you know, starts in October. And of course, the first thing I did was go in with my bare hands, with my fingers, and check that there were no frogs or toads or hedgehogs in any of the areas that I was going to strim. And indeed there were none, which was good. And I then strimmed, and I've lifted the strimmer up a bit, so I've strimmed relatively high for this first strim. Well, no, let me say that again. As this is its first strim of the calendar year, this growth year, if you like, I have given it quite a high strim. Hopefully I will strim this again in a couple of weeks' time, and I'll most probably clip it a little bit closer to the ground. But yeah, that's it for the moment. So one battery did the whole plot, which is great, and then it literally sort of conked out. Where the watering can is, you can see there's quite a lot of grass still there. That's because there's a toad by the watering can, and on the left here in our rather unkempt flower border bed, again we've got quite a few frogs in there. So yeah, I'm leaving them be at the moment. And now at this very moment, the next thing I'm going to do is just clean my strimmer. I've got a brush, a plastic hand brush that has really quite tough bristles, and I'm going to just give it a really good clean and get all the grass that may be clogged onto there off. Right, I'm just going to potter about for the rest of the day after I've cleaned the strimmer. I'll see you again very soon. Bye. Good day. It's a glorious afternoon, and I've come down for a couple of hours just to potter, and I've cut back the tree or shrub honeysuckle, the winter honeysuckle, and taken some cuttings. I'm not too confident about these cuttings because the shrub is about to come into flower, so there are some, or were some, flower buds on some of these cuttings, and I've taken the flower buds off so that they don't take up any energy. You can see a few of the flower buds there. And yeah, I think we'll take some more in the summer if these do nothing. But yeah, it's a rather glorious day, and I need to put these onto a dead hedge now, so I'm going to go and weave those in. But yeah, can you see how sunny it is? Rather lovely. Anyway, I will see you again at some point over the weekend. Hope you're all well. Bye. Good day. It's now Saturday afternoon and I thought we'd have a quick look at the germination of these broad beans. These two trays here are Claudia Aquadulci. They were sown rather, on the same date. This tray at the front seems to be doing a tad better than the one here. Not quite sure why. I mean, if anything, it's a bit shaded by these things here. But it's definitely doing better, marginally, than this one. And then these here, these are the Karmazin, which are the ones with purple seeds, green pods but purple seeds, and they're definitely a bit slower, which I've noticed in the past when I have grown this variety. Germination has been a tad slower, and it certainly seems to be. Our Hottentot figs, oh dear, they have succumbed significantly to frost, and I think we're going to be sorting those out at some point, either today or tomorrow, or I will be sorting them out. And all I'm going to do is try not to knock them over like I've just done there, but I'll be taking bits like this that are still alive and just potting those up. Maybe this bit here, you see that bit there at the end, is a better example of something that hopefully will come to a plant. But this is because we've had such deep cold. And Hottentot fig, I mean, as you know, this comes from Guernsey, and freezing temperatures in Guernsey are few and far between, and clearly the Hottentot fig doesn't like freezing or near freezing temperatures. So yeah, that's why this has died back in this way. But I think we'll be able to save some of that green growth that is still green. I'll try and link back to the video that we did last year where I potted up cuttings which were very similar to this. In fact, I think I might pot, in fact, look, that's dead. You can see that's dead there. If I just take that off, I think I may pot this bit up separately and take it home and hide it somewhere so that Richard can't see it. And then the rest I think I'll just pot up and leave down here and hope for the best. But you know, you win some, you lose some. It's a bit like the rose cuttings last week. I don't know whether they'll come to anything great or not, but I'm pleased about this germination here, and let me show you why. This was our first bed of autumn sown broad beans, and they got bitten by the frosts that we've had, which is really unusual. And then I think because they've been weakened, and because we've had a relatively mild winter so far, they have been attacked by slugs and snails. So what I thought was going to be a relatively good cropper for us is turning out to be a bit of a failure, really. It makes me wonder whether I should always cover them now, fleece them over winter. If we come and have a look at these over here, let me come this way, you can see that these are being munched pretty significantly as well. Oh dearie me, I don't know, it's not a broad bean year for us this year. It seems to be like that with us, that we alternate a really good year of broad beans with a pretty poor year of broad beans. But hey, we've got those growing in the poly,
so they will most probably go in hopefully around the end of March. But of course that means that if they're going in the end of March, we most probably won't get a harvest till June, where these, what I was hoping is that we'd have 2 really good beds that would give us a harvest in May. Hey ho. It is relatively sunny again now, but this morning was rain, and I've been saying about paths getting muddy. Even though this doesn't look too muddy to you, to me it's relatively muddy compared to how we've had these paths in the past. This top path doesn't normally get too muddy, but you can see it's getting to the point where it certainly is now. And then if we look at this lower path that crosses, look at that mud. I mean, that's significant. I mean, that's slippery. And then if we come down here, gosh, look how muddy it is. Even though I'm treading on the green here, it's still muddy. Look at that standing water on this plot. I mean, that is so unusual. It's just been so wet over the past few months, and the ground is literally saturated. The water table is so high. Let's have a quick look at the orchard. Look at that. This is just, I've not seen the orchard like this. I mean, it's just water. It's just pooling. And this just shows how high the water table is at the moment. And if we come over to the river, look at that. This might not seem much to you, but this is about 2 to 3 foot higher than it normally is. Over there on the other side of the tree, it's almost breaking the bank of the path. The path is most probably, oh, I don't know, 8 inches above the level of the water at the edge. And you can see how fast it's flowing, simply due to the amount of water that we've had. Lovely blossom over there. I'm not sure if you can see that. But yeah, the water table is high. Let's have a look around the bend over there where we planted the willow. There is the weeping willow that we planted a few weeks ago. And this sort of up to here and around here is where we would normally be walking. Pretty yeah, I mean that's flooded. It obviously hasn't breached the allotment here yet, but that's our willow. It's certainly getting quite a bit of water. So these are our steps down to what is normally 7 foot of walkway, 7 foot of edging, grass edging. I mean, this will subside, and of course is bringing down quite a lot of nutrients. But yeah, what a lot of water. Well, good luck to our little weeping willow. Our parsley and coriander that we sowed isn't doing too well. Never mind, that was a old seed anyway, and I don't think we've got any. Oh, we have. Look, what's that? That's gazania. So we've got a gazania germinating, but no lettuce yet. Oh, but I'm pleased to see a gazania. Fantastic. That, I think that's quite quick. Isn't that about a week, I think? Anyway, I better cover it up, keep it a little bit warmer. And our rose cuttings are over here. Some are looking happier than others, but you know, that's what happens. And then down here are the cuttings that I took yesterday of the Winter Honeysuckle. Lovely. Well, it's certainly an afternoon of sunshine and showers. At the moment the rain has stopped. Whilst I was in the poly a short while ago, it was pattering down. Before I got to the greenhouse, it was chucking it down. As we were going down and looking at the weeping willow, which is in the river at the moment, it was pattering down. So yeah, certainly a day of sunshine and showers. I'm sort of glad that throughout the beginning of February and the end of January we achieved quite a lot down here in terms of reclaiming beds, because it certainly feels that in the latter half of February and as we get into March, the wet weather is going to continue, and we haven't been able to get on and do as much this week, certainly with the rain, as I had intended to do, or as I had hoped to do. I also had a busy week at First State where I was down there for 2 days, 2 full-on long days. So yeah, but that the water here, I've been talking to somebody who's been here for a number of decades, and they are saying the same as me. They're saying that they don't remember the level of water to have been so high for such an extended period of time on this site. So yeah, I mean, obviously we've had really wet winters before, and we've had wet winters where I've been down here, you know, where I've had a plot here, but yeah, it just feels a bit unprecedented to me at the moment. Something lovely happened this week, and that is that we had authentication of a Neolithic to Bronze Age arrowhead that was found 200 meters on a plot that way, authenticated by the British Museum, no less. It was found around the same time, I think, as we were having the Vogue photo shoot, if you remember that Vogue Poland photo shoot a few years ago. And it's tiny. I mean, it's really tiny. I can't remember whether I showed it on camera at the time, but I will do once we have access to it again. But it's a tiny flint arrowhead, and it's been confirmed as being true, being what it is, and it has a dating by the British Museum of 2,700 years BC to 1,000 years BC. So certainly we know that in this area there will have been hunting, what's that, 4,500 years ago, something like that. Not surprising, because of course we've looked at the river. You know, rivers are a great source of water, particularly then when it will have been naturally clean water and not contaminated by
you know, the Industrial Revolution and what we do these days. So yeah, it's not surprising that there may have been either a settlement in this area or hunting in this area. But you know, quite amazing to know that a Bronze Age to Neolithic age arrowhead was found on this site. Pretty amazing, really is. Anyway, I have potted up this Hottentot fig, so it is coming home with me. I will give it a bit of a clean, and I will try and put it somewhere where Richard won't go, oh my god, what have you brought home now? Because I would love for this to grow. As you know, it's not a cutting that Mum gave me or anything like that, but Hottentot figs have a great memory for me of when I was young and my time in Guernsey. So yeah, the thing is, of course, if we're going to move to Wales, what I now know is that a Hottentot fig is unlikely to last outside, because Wales is generally colder than where we are in London. Anyway, that's it. It's glorious sunshine now, and I can see a few grey clouds coming in over there, so I'm going to wend my way home. So whatever is happening at your garden, your growing space, or your allotment, I hope you are getting some sunshine as well, and you're getting some time out to think about things, if not to actually get stuff done. And for those fair weather gardeners who are getting back into their gardens, even though they may have been able to carry on working throughout the whole of the winter, yeah, I hope your start of your season goes well. And of course, we're less than a month away from Easter now, Easter in the UK, and that is very much the time when garden centres and shops that sell plants and things begin gearing up. So I think we'll see some vegetable plants and other flowering plants coming into Lidl relatively soon, and we'll see what they have this year. We did pick up some red currants last year, as you might remember, and we also got some for a fellow plotter. In fact, it was the plot that I showed you that had the standing water. And when you have standing water like that, I mean, that plotter looks after her plot incredibly well. It's not about the way that the plot is managed, the ground is managed. It's just simply the level of the water table, having had so much rain over the past 6 weeks or so. Well, the winter anyway. Right, yes, whatever you're doing, however it is going, I hope you're enjoying it. And I'll see you again soon on Planet Vegetaria for further segments of A Week at the Plot. And if you watch on YouTube, there'll be another upload in a week's time. Any questions, any comments, please leave them down below. And if you fancy giving this video a thumbs up and you've got to the end, please give it a thumbs up and bananas. Bye.